y'all? Welcome back to my channel. I am Sunny Brooks, and for those that are new here, welcome. For those that are not, welcome back. While you're here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, give me a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them below. Listen, y'all, that'd be a mouthful, okay? Maybe I need to work on a better intro or something, but I'm like winded. But anyways, today we're going to be going over our journal topics for November. So I did journal topics last month. They were a hit, so I decided to make these a series. Like, make the affirmations, the monthly affirmations a series, make the journal topics a series, and probably the book suggestion, because that seems to be something that you guys are enjoying too. But we're going to go over the journal topics. I'm also considering answering these journal topics on my podcast. People said I should, and if you haven't already, check out my podcast at Sunny Days on Spotify, Apple, and Google. First journal topic. I'm going to be reading from my list because I'm not memorizing these. Okay. First journal topic. What's something that I would want to get off my chest to one of my parents? That one almost took me out. Woo! That almost took me out, y'all. What's something that I would want to get off my chest to one of my parents? Yeah, I think I might answer these on my podcast. So, yeah, come to my podcast. The second journal topic, I just can't go on like that. That's too quick. Listen, I know I'm not the only one that got some stuff on my chest that, like, I was pretty outspoken forever, but listen, there's some stuff that I can still tell my mama and daddy. Like, I want to tell them some stuff. So if I could journal about it, and hence, I probably won't, I'm a talker, so I probably won't write my journals. I do voice journals, which is a tip that you guys, if you don't feel connected to pen and paper, record yourself speaking on the topic. It's still journaling. It's not necessarily pen to paper journaling, but you're still journaling. Anyways, next journal topic. Write down a list of things that you are thankful to have today. Write down a list of things that you are thankful to have today. Gratitude. If you haven't already, go check out that video where I talked about the magic, the book, and thankful, grateful, it is all the same. So go check that out, because that goes with that. But next journal topic. In what way does my ego get in the way of my blessings, relationships, and etc.? Why they in our business, y'all? Why they in our... In what way does my ego get in the way of my blessings, relationships, and etc.? Woo! My ego. You got a big ego. Such a big ego. Listen. It literally says, in what ways does my ego get in the way of my blessings, relationships, etc.? I'm gonna let y'all marinate with that one. Next one. How can I show up more for myself? How can I show up more for myself? Because sometimes showing up for ourselves require us to say no to others. So how can you show up more for yourself? What could you do? What could you say? What way could you be? What boundaries could you put in place for you to show up more for yourself? Next journal topic. Who in my life has had the greatest impact on me today? Who in my life has had the greatest impact on me today? That's good to know, to think about. Just sit and think, who has the biggest impact? Was it a friend? Was it, parents? Was it a teacher? Was it a lover? Was it a stranger that you met? Was it maybe a pastor? Was it a spiritual teacher? Like, who has had the greatest impact on you today? Like, that's good. Any one of these that you feel free, you can answer them in the comments. Like, I would like to know, like, anything that you don't mind sharing, just let me know. Answer some of these in the comments, because we could get chit-chatty over there. The next one is, what have I dreamed about doing but never got around to doing so? What have I dreamed about doing but never got around to doing so? I think this is a really good question, because sometimes we get wrapped up in the everyday life and the rat race and keeping up and just making sure we stay afloat and things, that sometimes we have ideas, sometimes we have desires, sometimes we have dreams and goals that we just kind of push under the rug or put to the back burner just so we can continue to live and operate out of like everyday life. So what are some of those things that you dreamed about that you haven't gotten back around to? And once you answer that, maybe try to figure out how you can start incorporating that or working towards that. The next journal topic: in what ways have I been too hard on myself? How can I show myself more grace? In what ways have I been too hard on myself? How can I show myself more grace? Listen, one of the affirmations was about compassion. So like, we have to like stop being so hard on ourselves, because I feel like society tells us to be this perfect person, to work hard, to be a great mother, to be a great person, to have this type of body, to be this healthy. Like, it's like, and then when we fail, or when we not even necessarily fail, when we just don't live up to those standards, but we live up to our own standards, we still can be hard on ourselves, even though those things are things that we may not desire. So how can you be nicer to yourself? How can you show yourself more grace? Next journal topic: what are some of my unhealthy habits that need to be cut out? Damn, straight to the point, eh? What are some of my unhealthy habits that need to be cut out? What are some of my unhealthy habits that need to be cut out? And if you don't realize already, these journal topics and affirmations, they overlap. Some of them overlap because we had an affirmation about unhealthy habits. So what are some of my unhealthy habits that needs to be cut out? Yeah, what are some of yours? Like, think about it. And not only just physical things, right? Don't be like, oh yeah, I smoke a whole bunch. Okay, all right. What about like emotional habits that you have? Are you like overbearing? Are you maybe like too smothering? Are you like, are your boundaries non-existent? Like, things like that. Think about even emotional, think about mental, think about spiritual, think about unhealthy habits in general. Don't just think about the physical things, right? Next journal topic: if I had a chance to visit the past or future for a day, what would I do and why? If I had a chance to visit the past or future for a day, what would I do and why? What would you do? That reminds me of the question of like, would you prefer to meet your ancestors or do you prefer to meet your descendants type thing? It's not the same question, but it gives me that same feeling like, do I want to visit the future or do I want to visit the past? And what would I do and why? Yeah, that's a really good question. I wonder. Next journal topic: what are the 5 things that I love about myself the most? What are the 5 things that I love about myself the most? This is good because a lot of times we do introspective work. We do the improvement, the self-development, the personal development, all of those things. Like we ask ourselves questions and reflective questions on how we can improve and how we can be better. But this question asks us to basically boast on ourselves, like to really give ourselves credit, to really love on ourselves, to give ourselves props, to give ourselves some like attention, to shout ourselves out. So what are those 5 things that you love about yourself the most, right? Yeah. What are the 5 things? And granted, you can have more than 5 things, list them all, but at least have 5. Next journal topic: what are some key qualities that I look for when starting a new connection with someone? What are some key qualities that I look for when starting a new connection with someone? What are some key qualities that I look for when starting a new connection with someone? One of mine is like transparency. I told you I wasn't going to answer it here, but one of mine is transparency. Like, are you transparent? Like, transparency, vulnerability. Like, don't sit here and give me all the fluff. even though that we may be like new and not familiar, but still? Are you talking about all this other shit to try to distract me from not like paying attention to the other stuff you don't want to talk about and you're trying to avoid? But anyways, yes. So what are some things that you look for? Next journal topic. Write a brief message to one of your ancestors about your current spiritual journey. Write a brief message to one of your ancestors about your current spiritual journey. That should be good. Like, what are you feeling? What you going through? What you doing? So write a message to one of your ancestors. That should be good. The next one is, what can I do now to ensure the well-being of future generations? What can I do now to ensure the well-being of future generations? I think that's good. It's funny because I just mentioned the descendants and ancestors as one of the questions. Well, not the questions, but what it brought up. And here it goes. Like, what can you do to ensure the well-being of future generations? Next journal topic. What are some goals that I have for the next 30 days? What are some goals that I have for the next 30 days? Which is kind of important because it's not kind of important. It's definitely important, but it's kind of on time, which I should have said. It's kind of on time because we're in November and we have less than 60 days left. So if you answer this question within those 30 days, you can definitely accomplish some things before the end of the year. So what are some goals that you have for the next 30 days? And the next journal topic is, what areas in my life could I use a little more discipline? What areas in my life could I use a little more discipline? What areas in my life could I use a little more discipline? We could all use discipline, but like there are specific areas we know that like, okay, I can use a little discipline when it comes to procrastination, when it comes to getting things done, when it comes to cleaning up, when it comes to eating a certain way, when it comes to drinking water or staying on top of supplements and things like that. So these are some journal topics. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my podcast at Sunny Days on Apple, Google, and Spotify, because I think I'm going to be answering these journal topics there. So if you want to get to know me a little more, get to know what like's in my mind or my heart, come over there because I'm going to probably answer these. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, don't forget to drop them below. But answer some of these questions below, the ones that you don't mind sharing with us. I'll see you next time. Love you. Bye.